Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miriam and I talk about all kinds of quilting things here on YouTube. We are getting near the end of our cottage twirl quilt along. So if you don't know, I have been hosting a free quilt along here on YouTube. If you would like to watch the previous videos from this quilt along, you certainly can. They'll be in a playlist down in the description box below. You can save the playlist for later on if you choose to make this quilt later on in your quilting journey. That's totally fine. The pattern that we're using is my cottage twirl quilt pattern. It is a free pattern that you can get on my website. All the links for everything will be in the description box below, okay? If you'd like to get your hands on a booklet form where I've actually printed it out into a booklet, you can find this on my website as well. This is $6, includes shipping, and you can get that as well, okay? So this is week 5 of the quilt along, which means we are quilting our quilts. So last week we pieced together our quilt top, we basted our layers together, so we should be ready now to quilt our quilts, right? And I promised you guys I was going to come up with a new tutorial for quilting for this video, and I've got a really fun one. I'm really excited about it. It's a design that I've wanted to try to do, but I've been a little intimidated to try it. But now that I kind of broke it down into steps for myself, I see that this is way easier than I thought it was going to be, and it's really fun too. It's legitimately fun to do. So I'm really excited. You probably saw a little sneaky peek of it in the thumbnail. But before we get into that, there are so many different ways that you can quilt this quilt, okay? I have done many quilting tutorials on my channel, so I will link the playlist that includes all of those tutorials as well down in the description box. We've got straight line quilting tutorials in there, many free motion quilting tutorials. There's something for everybody, I think. So there's so many ways to quilt this quilt. If you don't want to do any of the ways that I've shown how to quilt, you quilt the way that you want to quilt it, okay? You could hand quilt it. You could tie it. Tying it would be very cute, actually. I love the look of a tied quilt. We should do that sometime on the channel because I love the look of it, and it's something that's really not done that often anymore, and I think it's really cute. I wanted to say that so you don't have to do the quilting that I'm showing you, but I hope you try it. At least do a little practice sandwich, okay? So I'm going to show you my practice sandwich that I did to kind of figure out how to do the design. And this is called, or I've seen it called, like a chrysanthemum quilting, free motion quilting. So this is my little practice sandwich I did. It looks quite busy, I know, looks quite intimidating, but I am telling you, it's really easy, you guys. You do the exact same thing all over the quilt. Here's the back. I did on a darker color fabric so you could see the contrast of the white thread. But it's so cute. It's florally. It could kind of look like clouds. There's just many different interpretations of it. You can change the size of the flowers. You could have them be itty bitty flowers if you want. You could have them be ginormous flowers if you want, if you don't want to do that much quilting. Lots of options for this design. So before we actually start quilting on our quilt, we're going to do some practice, okay? If you are comfortable with doing free motion, you just want to see how it's done on the machine, you can skip forward to the next chapter of this video. But right now I'm going to show you how to, we're first going to practice with paper and a pencil. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it does work. And it just kind of helps with learning that muscle memory of moving your hand, and it helps your brain and your hand, the connection between the two, doing the movements, and just learning the steps of the movements to make the flowers. So that's what we're going to do first, okay? So I'm going to point the camera down so you can see my paper here. You could practice it directly on the coloring page that's included in the pattern. So you could color in your colors of your quilt and then do practice designs on here. Though that's pretty small if you were to do that. We're actually going to do it on a piece of paper. And I'm going to get my lead out here on the pencil. You can use pen too, but I just like to use pencil just in case you have to erase. It's Easy peasy. It's like a seam ripper, right? These are the steps that you will take to do this quilting, okay? I'm just going to start up in the corner of the paper just for this practice. You don't have to start in the corner of the quilt. You can start on an edge. You can start in the center of the quilt if you want. You can start wherever. But I'm just going to start up in the corner just because that's the easiest. So our first movement we're going to do is we are going to create a hook like that. So it's kind of like the shape of half of a heart if you draw little hearts. So we're going to do that, and it's upside down, right? So you do your hook, and then we're going to stop here, and then we're going to come back around and do our petals. And you're going to do 4 or 5 petals, however many you want. You can kind of play around with how many petals you want to do for each flower. So I'm doing 4, and I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to come back around to echo those petals. And I'm just going to keep going and do maybe an extra petal there. And then again, I stop, and then I'm going to come back around and do another echo and another layer of the flowers. And then I'm going to stop. Now I want to start another flower. So I'm just going to come out away, and we're just going to do a fluid movement kind of like that, and I'm going to make another hook. And this time I'm going in the opposite direction for my hook, right? So I'm going this way, and I stop, and I come back and do my petals. That time I did 5 petals, and I stop. I'm going to come back around and echo. Back around. And you can do more than 3 layers of the petals if you want. You could just keep on going with your echoing. I like the look of the 3, but you could keep going if you want. Now I'm done with that flower. Now I'm going to come out again, and I'm going to do another hook. And I'm going to draw my petals. That, echo it out. I'm just trying to fill in those gaps. If I see gaps, I'll make another petal to fill in a little bit of empty space there. All right. I'm going to stop on the edge, and we're going to come out away, and we're going to do another hook. And you are just going to keep on doing this all the way around on your quilt. But those are the movements. You do the hook, then you do 4 or 5 petals, then you come back around and echo your petals. See, I have some blank space over here, so I'm going to add another petal or 2 just to fill that blank space. Then I'm going to come back around and echo again. And there I'm going to stop, and then we're just going to come back out and start another hook like that. And do another one. So the reason why this is such a great beginner-friendly quilting pattern is because the steps are fairly simple to do, right? And you really can't go wrong. I mean, because you can always fill in the spaces with petals from another flower. So it's just, you can just go any way you want. So, and that's our practice. So I know it looks a little sloppy on paper, right? It looks a lot better when you're stitching it. I want you to keep on practicing those movements, okay? Don't forget, you do your hook, then you do a few 4 or 5 petals, then you go back around and do another layer of petals, and then you turn back around and do another layer of petals, another echo, and then from there you move out to do another hook. And that's how you do this entire design. That's how I did this whole piece. So now let's go to the sewing machine, get it set up for free motion quilting, and we will actually start quilting our quilt, okay? All right, I'm at the sewing machine and I'm ready to quilt, right? If you've never free motion quilted before, you're gonna wanna set up your sewing machine for free motion quilting. So to do that, you want to either lower your feed dogs, or your sewing machine might have come with a little cover. It's like a little plastic cover that goes over the feed dogs so they're not pulling the fabric while you're sewing. Also, you could also change your stitch length to 0, and that will also make it so your feed dogs are not working, okay? Because we want to be in charge of the speed at which the fabric is moving, and we are in charge of the stitch length. I personally do not use a stitch regulator. I just have practiced so much. I've gotten really good at being able to have a consistent stitch length. And you will get there too, okay? I know some people get discouraged because their stitches aren't the perfect length all the way around their quilt. You know, some are a little bit shorter, some are a little bit longer. It's okay, okay? This is supposed to be fun. It's creative, it's artistic. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? If your machine has a speed control, I would turn your speed down. You don't want to go super fast when you're first starting free motion quilting. I know, you know, we see these videos of people quilting on Instagram or on YouTube, whatever, and they look like they're going really fast, but a lot of times they kind of have it sped up, right? So I will have some clips of me quilting later in this video, and it's going to be sped up because I'm guessing you don't want to sit through an hour long of just me quilting at my kind of slowish pace. Just keep that in mind. So it's okay to go slow. There is no shame in going slow. It's better to go slow and to be able to do accurate stitches and accurate design than to be going too fast and it be a little messy looking, right? So that's my train of thought anyways. So we're just going to freehand our quilting onto our quilt. If you're not ready yet to actually quilt on your quilt, if you want to actually practice on a little practice sandwich like I did with the green fabric, go ahead and do that now. And you could even draw on the quilting design with a water-soluble marker like the Dritz Mark Be Gone pen. You could use that, or a friction pen. You could actually draw the design on and trace it for practice. That would be great. You could even do that on your regular quilt, but I would love to challenge you to try to do it freehand, okay? Because it's just really fun. I find it very fun anyways doing that. Since I've already practiced, I'm gonna go ahead and start quilting on my actual quilt. So I have it over here, and I actually did quilt some already on here because I will tell you, I started recording this yesterday, like right after I had figured it out, and I was so excited. And I think in my excitement, I wasn't really making perfect sense with what I was trying to teach you guys. So I decided to step away from it for the evening and then come back out and record it this morning. So that's what I'm doing this morning. Today is Thursday, so the video is going out tomorrow. So we got to get going here. So I'll show you the little bit that I got done on my quilt. I think you can see it. It's a subtle look because I'm using white thread, but it's so cute and it adds a really cool texture. Here's the back of the quilt. Can't see it that great. At least I can't on my little tiny screen. Maybe you can see it better on your TV or computer. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to do it in real time on your sewing machine. So I am just going to get this situated. Since I glue basted, I don't need to worry about where to start my quilting. If you pin baste, you should probably start your quilting in the center of the quilt, just because it's a lot less likely for you to get puckers and the fabric to shift in the way that you don't want it to. So if you pin basted, start quilting in the center of your quilt. If you glue basted, then you should be able to start on any of the edges and be totally fine with that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to start on an edge just because it's easy just to kind of lead in. When you're quilting, you really want to make sure that the part of the quilt that you're not quilting is not dragging the quilt down at all. You don't want it to be hanging off of your table, because then it's more likely to mess with your stitching. So you want it to be kind of up. You can have it up on your lap. Some quilters have their quilt over their shoulder as they're quilting. It just kind of depends. Some quilters have come up with these elaborate, systems where they have the quilt like hanging up on different hooks and stuff over the table. I just kind of hold it up like this on my chest because I just need this part loose, right, while I'm quilting. So I just kind of do that and adjust. You'll see me adjusting it quite a bit. It's not fluid movement with no stops for when you're free motion quilting. You stop quite a bit to adjust things and make sure that your speed is right and all of that. So let's go ahead and do some stitches here. I'm going to move the camera onto the tripod behind me and try to get you a really good shot of what I'm looking at while I'm stitching. We'll see if I can get a good shot because it is kind of tricky to do that. When you're free motion quilting, you want to use your hands kind of like a frame, I guess. So I like to keep my hands like this, just on either side of the needle. Make sure your hand doesn't get too close to the needle because you don't want to accidentally stitch that skin right in between your thumb and your hand. That would be ouchy if that got stitched. So make sure that you don't accidentally stitch your hand or your finger. Definitely be paying attention while you're going. And we're just going to start on a random edge here on the side. And I just kind of lead in. I start my stitching out on the batting. And I lead in. And let's see, I'm just kind of do like a fluid loop up this way a little bit, and then I'll start my hook, okay? So I'm just leading in, and now I'm gonna do my hook. So there's my hook right there. I will try to zoom in when I'm editing so you can really see what I'm doing here. But now I'm gonna do my 4 or 5 petals. Okay. Now we're going to bring it back around and echo those petals we just did. All right, and now I'm going to do my 3rd layer of petals. And I'm gonna go ahead and lead out. And we're gonna do another hook. One of the biggest and greatest pieces of advice I can give you when you're doing this kind of quilting, where you're doing a motif kind of all over your quilt, is to just focus on the flower that you are doing right now. Do not focus on, what you're going to be doing over 2 feet away from this one. Don't focus on, oh, what am I going to do in the bottom left corner? We don't need to worry about that right now. Just worry about the flower that you're working on. Make sure that your stitch length is even. Make sure that you're having fun, okay? If it starts getting stressful, walk away, okay? Now let's make another flower. So I did my hook. Now we're going to do some more petals. Okay. Now I'm gonna echo. I'm gonna do another layer of echo because I want to move away from this edge. I want to bring the quilting this way. So to do that, I'm just adding another layer of echoed petals, and it's going to look intentional, and it's going to get my quilting to start moving in this direction now. I'm going to move left. See how cute that is? I don't know if you can see that, but that looks very cute. I love it. All right, now I'm gonna move this way with the quilting, okay? So I did my hook. If you notice, each time I do a layer of petals, I stop before I start doing the next layer or the echo of those petals. So that ensures that I'm not jumping any stitches, or it's not going to look messy at that transition area. So there I stop again. All right, and I kind of filled that awkward empty space that I had up here. Let me move the camera over on the other side, and maybe you can get a bit of a better angle from that side. All right, now I'm going to bring a flower over here. So I'm just going to fluidly move kind of a loop over this way and do my hook. So I try to avoid doing any straight lines with my stitching because this is a very curvy quilting design. So now I'm going to do my petals. If you can see, I had another flower here. So I stopped echoing before I came to the end of the petal because I don't want my stitches to touch from different flowers, right? So I kind of stopped here. It's going to look totally natural. And then we're going to bring up a flower, and I'm going to kind of try to come up and fill in this. I got a little bit of a blank space right in this area between flowers, and I want to fill that. So I'm going to kind of gradually come up here and just fill it up as best I can with a flower, and then keep moving on. So when I do this kind of quilting, I don't try to stay like, I know sometimes people try to stay in kind of a general area, but I just kind of go with it and go wherever the stitches take me, right? I don't have a huge game plan when I go in. If you want to have a game plan, you could focus on quadrants of the quilt. So you could have like the top right quadrant, then the bottom right quadrant, and try to fill up the top right quadrant. Then move down to the bottom right. Then flip the quilt around and focus on the other two sides. So you could do that. I just kind of go with the flow when it comes to this, and I just really like the quilting to look very organic. I don't want it to look like I followed a stencil or anything, so I want everything to look very organic when I'm doing this type of thing. So let's go up and fill that empty space. So we're coming up here. I think I'm gonna do another layer of quilting. And I think I'm gonna do another one because I still got a little bit of blank space between, there's a flower here and there's a flower here. So I've got a slight blank space there. So I'm gonna try to fill that in a little bit. And with these petals, to really fill in this gap, I'm gonna make the arch of the petal quite large just to, again, organically fill up that space to look like I meant to do it and not so it's like, oh no, she had to do that because she had a weird open blank space there. So let's go ahead and move. There, and then we're gonna come back. All right, and I filled up that space and it doesn't look weird. It looks like it was supposed to look like that. So now I am going to actually come back over here again because I still have a bit of a blank space right here. So I'm just going to, again, come back over very organically. I'm adjusting. Do my hook. And I'm going to do another layer to get myself back over here so I can continue the quilting. And now I can start another flower down in this area. Now I am just going to continue to quilt, and I'll play some pretty music here if you want to enjoy watching me quilt a little bit, just so you can kind of watch how the movement goes some more and just kind of practice on your own. And I hope you enjoy. All right, let's quilt.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Maybe I never knew what I really wanted, but looking back I can see it's all clear. I'm still a kid trying to act like they all taught me, but nothing makes sense anymore. Oh, it hurts to grow up, 'cause nothing makes sense anymore. Oh, it hurts to grow up, 'cause nothing makes sense.
All right.
Nothing makes sense.
Wow, 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 wow. Hold on a second. We got to look at this on the table, okay? I got to put this out so we can really get a good look at it. All right, this is what I've gotten done so far. Look how cool. Wow, I love it. It looks so cool. Okay, so I wanted to show you, there was a couple of spots where, okay, like right here. Let's see, where's my finger? Right here, I had kind of a weird blank space, and I didn't have enough room to do like a full-on layered out flower, but I just came in with a hook and just did a few little petals and then moved out with another hook and did some more petals. And then I was able to move into a larger flower from there. So that, if you ever find yourself with like a weird blank space, you can do that, and look how well it blends in. You don't even really notice it. It looks great. It looks intentional. And it's a very organic quilt design. I really like this. I'm thinking this would look so cute on like baby quilts. Babies would love the texture because it kind of bubbles the fabric a little bit. It would be even better with like polyester batting. So it would be thicker and more plush. But it looks great. Let's look at the back. See if we can see it on the back. Oh yeah, it looks so good. I really like this quilting. This might be a new favorite. I know I say that about every single time I come up with a new quilt design that I like, or quilting design that I like, but it's true. It looks so nice. Very fun. So now I get to quilt the rest of it. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'll probably quilt a little bit each day for this next week, just because I have so many other things that I need to do. I got a bunch of orders in my shop, so I need to get those packaged up and shipped out. If you missed my little bonus video that I put out on Tuesday, I did a shop update video, which I think I'll start doing once a month just to kind of show you the new stuff that I have in the shop. But so if you would want to watch that video, I'll put that in the description box of this. But I got a bunch of new wide backing fabrics in, and some cute little quilt labels that you can add to your quilts. I got thread, some hero markers. I'm selling hero markers now. So all kinds of goodies. So if you'd like to check those out, you can. We're almost to the end of this quilt along, you guys. We have one more week. So next week we will be squaring up our quilt, trimming it down, and then adding the binding, and then our quilts are going to be done. Pretty exciting. This has been a nice, quick quilt along, but it's been so much fun. I've learned a lot through hosting the quilt along on YouTube. This has gone very well, and I've really, really enjoyed it. I'd love people's feedback on the quilt along, kind of if you enjoyed it and all of that. If you have any constructive criticism, if you would like something to be different for our next one, or if you have suggestions for something else that we could do with the quilt along, let me know. I know I've had quite a few people asking if we're gonna do like a holiday quilt along, so I'd really like to get one set up. I just have to figure out something. Probably be kind of like a smaller project, just so no one's feeling stressed that they have to try to get a complete quilt done. Maybe we could do some kind of cute wall hanging or table runner or something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. So I will be thinking about that. If you have suggestions, let me know. Thank you so much for joining me for this video, for this tutorial. I hope it made sense. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give it a try. It's seriously so much fun. I'm kind of bummed I have to stop and edit this video now and make this video instead of get to keep quilting, because this is very, very fun to do. I think it looks really great. I can't wait to keep on quilting this quilt. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments below. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. All right? I will talk to you soon. Bye.